Today, actually, we were doing some interesting work. Today, in the biology section, even MPC section, while talking, I gave a simple problem and most of them could not do. I got surprised. Really? You should have a good mathematical background or understanding, otherwise the chemistry would be a bit troublesome. So morning I was wonderstruck. I will see whether you can do this problem. Before you do this problem,
Good morning, sir.
good morning. I don't know, my admissions are taking a lot of time. Okay. Look at this problem. From point A to point B, a plane has gone with a speed of 600 kilometers per hour. From point B to A, it came back with a velocity of 400 kilometers per hour. What is its average speed or velocity? Those speed and velocity are different. We in mathematics can take as a same term, don't worry. What is the average velocity of the aeroplane?
Sir, 480 kmph.
Perfect. You are the only boy who answered it correctly within a very less time. I congratulate you. I got surprised today. So many seniors, even junior BPC students have no idea about this. So I am not explaining how to solve it anyway. I think everybody understood how to do this. Everybody understood, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Only one boy answered, all others. Somebody gave an answer 0 kilometers. I have the message. Some students said average 0. Somebody said 500. And also somebody says, I can't see the screen, all that. Suppose you are traveling with a speed of 60 kilometers per hour and you traveled a distance of 120 kilometers. How much time you have taken, sir?
2 hours.
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours, sir.
This everybody knows because time is equal to distance traveled divided by velocity or speed. Everybody knows that. Sir, when you are going from point A to point B with a speed of 600 kilometers per hour, let the distance be x. And now, when you have returned with a speed of 400 kilometers, again you travel the distance x. Therefore, sir, I want to examine what is the total distance traveled by you. In back and forth, total distance traveled by you is equal to 2x. Any doubt? Yes? Any doubt? Now, what is the time taken for forward journey? Time taken for forward journey is equal to distance traveled divided by velocity. The time taken for backward journey is equal to distance traveled by velocity. So time taken total is equal to x by 600 for forward journey, x by 400 for backward journey. LCM is 1200. So it is 5x by 1200 is total time taken. Total distance is 2x. Now what is the velocity, sir? Average velocity is equal to? Average velocity is equal to? Velocity is equal to total distance traveled divided by total time taken. 2x divided by 5x by 1200. This is equal to 2x into 1200 by 5x. It is equal to 480 kilometers. So your average speed is 480 kilometers per hour. It is not 500. This is called weighted average. Often in chemistry also you require weighted average. You got this concept clearly or not? Hello?
Hello.
We got.
Here is another problem. In a family, there are two ladies who are employed. Each lady is earning 50,000 per month. And there are three gents who are earning, each gent is earning 40,000 per month. What is the average income of each individual in the family?
90,000.
Really, if you are asked average, you can't add 50,000 to 40,000 and divide with 2. If you do that, you get 45,000, which is wrong.
10,000 by 5.
What you should do is, you should say total income due to ladies, that is 1 lakh. And total income due to gents, that is 3 into 40,000, that is 1,20,000. And the total earnings divided by total members, that is 44,000 is average. It is called weighted average. For example, if you take a chlorine gas, it has a chlorine atom 75% whose atomic mass is 35. It has 25% chlorine atoms whose mass is 37. So if you want to know atomic weight, that is average, you get a 75 into 35 plus 25 into 37 divided by 100. This works out to be 35.5. In reality, if you take chlorine gas, there is no chlorine atom whose mass is 35.5. This 35.5, a fractional weight, is not there for any atom. Either the chlorine atoms have a mass of 35 or they have a mass of 37. But when you have taken weighted average, it worked out to be 35.5. Got it? Hello? Got it or not?
Yes.
These are basic ideas we require to address. Here we get an interesting problem when you scan this lesson. Sir, we studied that sodium is a metal that can react with water vigorously to give NaOH. And hydrogen gas. We noted all the metals which have negative electrode potentials can react with water to give hydrogen gas. But there can be exception. Today somebody asked me, aluminum electrode potential is minus 1.66. Can it react with hydrochloric acid to give aluminum chloride and hydrogen gas? Answer is yes. Any metal which has a negative electrode potential can lose electrons. It can happily give electrons to H plus and generate hydrogen gas. There is no issue in that. Then can aluminum react with concentrated nitric acid to give hydrogen gas and aluminum nitrate? With a concentrated nitric acid, answer is no. The reason is aluminum, though is reactive, can lose electrons to H plus. The nature of nitric acid is it is a oxidizing agent. It can give oxygen. Therefore, in presence of nitric acid, if you take this aluminum, around aluminum, you get a layer of aluminum oxide. This layer of aluminum oxide formed because nitric acid is an oxidizing agent. This layer of aluminum oxide, though it is very thin, it will not allow the H plus to attack the metal. This is called protective oxide layer.
Morning,
Due
sir.
to the formation of, yes sir, hello? Hello? What's the doubt?
Very said good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. He's a fool.
What did you say?
He
Good
said
morning.
Nothing, sir. He just said good morning.
That fool said good morning,
Okay,
sir.
that's fine. Now, whenever aluminum is there, aluminum has a negative electrode potential like your S block metals. Anybody who has a negative potential should lose electrons to H plus and generate hydrogen gas when it reacts with acid. However, aluminum is not able to react with concentrated nitric acid because it makes a protective oxide layer around it. You understand? Then there is a question, can aluminum react with a diluted nitric acid? Concentrated nitric acid is oxidizing agent, no doubt. But diluted nitric acid is not an oxidizing agent. Can it react? Answer is yes, it reacts. Reaction is 830-839 reaction. 8 moles of aluminum reacts with 30 moles of nitric acid diluted to give aluminum nitrate, 3 moles of ammonium nitrate, and 9 moles of water. Of course, with the diluted nitric acid. Anyway, that is a different story. Here I am interested to say you should know simple math. I will prove this point why you should know. Let us look at our lesson. Ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing the biological importance of sodium. A 70 kg man contains about 90 grams of sodium and 170 grams of potassium compared to 5 grams of iron and 0.06 grams of copper. Notice your blood contains iron, but the demand of iron is only 5 grams in all the blood you have, average 5 to 6 liters. Whereas you require 90 grams sodium and 170 grams of potassium. The sodium ions are primarily found outside the cell, that is in the blood plasma, the liquid that is there between the cells. It is there as an interstitial fluid. Interstitial means gap between cells. In the tissues, there is gap between cells. In this interstitial fluid that is there between the cells, sodium ions are there. These ions participate in the transmission of nerve signal. They are participating in transmission of nerve signals, regulating the flow of water across the cell membrane and maintaining blood pressure. They play a role in transportation of sugar and amino acids into the cells. Notice sodium, potassium look similar, but they are very different in their ability to penetrate into the cell. Potassium ions can penetrate into the cell. Within the cell, potassium ion concentration is very high. Outside the cell, that is living cell, sodium concentration is more. Potassium ions are the most important cations within the cell fluid, where they activate enzymes. They are responsible for burning of glucose, that is the source of energy in our body. The energy released is stored as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Sodium ions are responsible for transmission of nerve signals. Notice, the potassium ion plays main role in transmission of nerve signal. For the job of potassium ion, sodium ion helps. But the main responsibility of transmission of nerve signals is by potassium ion. If you look at the data, that is very surprising. In blood plasma, you have 143 millimoles per liter of sodium ions. Millimole means 10 to the power minus 3 moles. Mole means 23 grams. So every liter of blood contains 143 into 23 into 10 to the power minus 3 grams of sodium ions. Whereas the potassium ions in plasma are very less, 5 millimoles per liter. 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 39 grams. The concentration within the cell is just 10 millimoles of sodium and 105 millimoles of potassium. Within the cell, potassium ion is there. More outside the cell, living cell, our body is made with cells. Sodium ions are more. These ions concentration change is called ion gradient. This ion gradient is very important and called as sodium potassium pump. It operates between the cell to cell. And the sodium potassium ion concentration difference is important for transmission of nerve signals from brain to body. For maintaining this concentration gradient, we are consuming a lot of energy. 1/3 of the energy resource is consumed in our body to maintain the concentration gradient. It is about 15 kilojoules. There is a printer's table. It is 15 kilojoules per 24 hours energy is consumed in the resting animal. So, what problems I can expect? Your weight is 50 kg. How many grams of sodium you have? You can easily solve. 70 kg has 90 grams, 50 kg has how much? But the problem can be tricky. Yes, newly born baby has 7 kg weight. Really, newly born babies will have 3.5 kgs. But they are giving a problem. A small boy has 7 kg body weight. How many sodium ions his body has? 70 kg means 90 grams. 7 kg means 9 grams. 9 grams contain how many sodium ions? Weight by atomic weight into Avogadro number. 9 by 23 whole into Avogadro number. Like that, they can ask for number of sodium ions, number of potassium ions, number of iron ions, etc. in the body. So that is a little math. You feel difficult means I can't help. You understand? So in a nutshell to say, sodium, potassium ions are important in our living system. Sodium ions are especially important for maintaining blood pressure, for communication, for transportation. Potassium ions are important for nerve signal transmission. Got it, sir? Hello? Got it? Hello? Did you get it, sir? Any doubt on this? You have any doubt on this, please? I will allow you to speak. So I have allowed you to talk.
The portion is clear, sir.
Sir,
Let the
why are you
portion
worried
go.
of portion? Why are you worried of portion? Whatever I am doing is portion. Don't worry about portion. Portion is S block. Biological importance of S block elements. That is, we are going to see shortly. We are going to see right away. The biological importance of sodium, potassium we have seen. Now we see the biological importance of calcium, magnesium. We go to next chapter and magnesium and calcium are biologically important. See, an adult body contains 25 grams of magnesium. See, 70 kg man contain how many grams of sodium? 90 grams. How many grams of potassium? 170 grams. How many grams of iron? Only 5 grams. How many grams of copper? 0.06 grams. Magnesium is 25 grams. Calcium is 1200 grams. Mind you, 1.2 kg of your body weight is due to calcium. The daily requirement, every day you require 300 milligrams of calcium. Even the sufficient amount of calcium can prevent a corona attack. Therefore, doctors are recommending you to take vitamin D tablets. All enzymes that utilize adenosine triphosphate energy stored in body transfer required magnesium as the cofactor. Main pigment for the absorption of light in plants is called chlorophyll that contain magnesium. Notice 99% of calcium is there in your body in bones and teeth. We just wait, man. Hello. Yes. Sir, one important aspect I want to share with you is in our body. Hello.
आयशा के साथ जाइए आप.
Hello. Okay. Sir, one interesting thing I want to share with you is one interesting thing. In our body, whatever the living cells we have today, they die within 3 months. You get new cells. Cells keep on dying, keep on taking birth. Even bone is dissolving. Every day about 400 milligrams of bone dissolves. New cells generally accumulate. Only cells that don't die in our brain right from birth to death are neurons. In the neurons, information is recorded. Therefore, you remember what happened in past events. Due to any reason, if the neurons die, you forget the past. Everything we can forget because the recording will go. In this body, which is a wonderful chemical factory, calcium is there in bones and teeth. Calcium plays an important role as a neuromuscular function. The information from brain through neurons to your muscles to hit the enemy, this signal is transmitted with the help of calcium. Interneuronal transmission and neuromuscular function. It maintains the cell membrane integrity and formation of cell membranes, and it helps for coagulation of blood. Calcium is really very important. You require in blood about 100 milligrams per liter of calcium ions. Notice there are two important hormones called calcitonin and parathyroid. These two hormones maintain the calcium levels. Those people who have thyroid problem, they suffer from bone fractures very easily. So the importance of calcium, magnesium ions, the importance of sodium, potassium ions in biological systems, you should remember, you should study for the weekend exam. And the rest of the things are very simple. We are going to complete 1 year group. For your weekend syllabus, you have complete 1 year group with a little additional information of uses. For example, to fill the teeth, if there are gaps in the teeth, if the teeth undergoes a breakage, what doctors do? Doctors put a kind of cement to fill the gap in the teeth. What is that cement? That cement is called Sorel cement. Sorrel cement is actually magnesium chloride, magnesium oxide, 5 water. You should know actually these are very general ideas you studied in 9th class, 10th class. What is gypsum? CaSO4 2H2. What happens when gypsum is heated? You get
We get
CaSO4
POP.
OH2O called plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is mainly used to, I don't know, some voice I am able to hear. They should mute themselves if somebody is talking in their home. So plaster of Paris, all these ideas you will get. Now we are going to conclude this chapter right now. The S block, only alkali metals part, only alkali metals. So we are seeing what it is. Only alkali metals. Don't bother about the entire chapter. So we are looking at the alkali metals. We make a survey quickly. I will check up whether you have learned them. Let us make ourselves very sure that we have learned this. Sir, in page number 1, we studied what are alkali earth metals, which are radioactive. In page number 2, you studied the names of the elements, why lithium and magnesium are similar, diagonal relationship. You have seen the electron configuration, trends in ionization energy, hydration enthalpy, which makes lithium ion biggest in aqueous solution. We compared the flame coloration. Then we studied carefully this table, especially the variation and trends. We understood what is standard electrode potential, what is its importance. We noticed that lithium when burned in air gives only oxide, sodium on burning gives peroxide and a little oxide. Potassium onwards they give superoxides. Superoxide stability increases down a group. We distinguished what are these. We also noticed that superoxides have an unpaired electron, so superoxides are colored. KO2 is potassium superoxide, it has orange color. In any compound, alkali metal itself has a +1 oxidation state. The reactivity towards water increases down a group. They react with water to give metal hydroxide and hydrogen. The reactivity towards metals and dihydrogen. Dihydrogen reacts with metals to give ionic hydride. We studied about them. They react with halogens to give halides. In these halides, only lithium chloride has some covalent nature. It dissolves in organic solvents. All other chlorides are highly ionic. And only lithium chloride has a tendency to absorb moisture. Other sodium chloride, potassium chloride, they don't absorb moisture. The ability to absorb moisture of lithium chloride is its similarity with the magnesium chloride, diagonal relationship. These are all very good reducing agents. In aqueous solution, lithium is the best reducing agent. However, in gas phase, as you are going down, reducing power increase. With ammonia, they give deep blue color solutions. We studied about the nature of this color, how it changes on concentration. We have studied the uses of these metals. We have looked at carefully general characters of these compounds of the metals. First, we studied about oxides. These oxides can be ordinary oxide dissolved in water gives base. Peroxide dissolved in water can make weakly basic solution. As oxide gives strong base, peroxide gives very weak base. And superoxides evolve oxygen. This is a comparison. Oxide dissolves in water, keeps quiet, makes a base. Peroxide dissolves in water, makes weakly basic and H2O2. Superoxide dissolves in water and evolves oxygen gas. KO2 is paramagnetic and orange colored because of unpaired electron. About halides, I made a discussion. The oxo acid of these compounds and their salts are worth studying. We have seen the strange properties of lithium, and we have seen why they are strange. How lithium is showing a diagonal relationship with the magnesium we studied. These properties, points of similarities between lithium and magnesium. In what way lithium is different from rest of the 1A group metals are important board questions. And in the compounds of sodium, we have 4 compounds. One is washing soda Na2CO3 10H2O. Washing soda, when strongly heated, gives Na2CO3 by losing water. So washing soda weight is lost on heating due to loss of water. But Na2CO3 as such will not decompose. First group carbonates never decompose on heating. Sodium carbonate is generally prepared by Solvay process in India. This process has an importance and advantage. In Solvay process, you can make Na2CO3 but not K2CO3. Reason. In the process, first you prepare NaHCO3. The NaHCO3 being insoluble gets precipitated. That on heating is Na2CO3. Just wait, all of you. Harini, నీ వాయిస్ ఎంత గట్టిగా వినిపిస్తుందో పిల్లలు ఎవరు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. Yes, we are here. Na2CO3 10H2O washing soda. This on heating loses water, it will not decompose. Number 2, Na2CO3 is made by Solvay process but not K2CO3. Reason? In the course of preparation of Na2CO3, first you get NaHCO3. That NaHCO3 is not soluble, so it gets precipitated much. It is not much soluble. The baking soda is not much soluble. Na2CO3 is highly soluble. Therefore, Na2CO3 is made by Solvay process. K2CO3 cannot be made by Solvay process because K2CO3, if you want to prepare, first you should prepare KHCO3. Unfortunately, potassium bicarbonate is highly water soluble. You can't precipitate that. So the difference in solubility of HCO3 salts, potassium bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, makes a lot of difference. Question: why Solvay process cannot be used for K2CO3? Answer: KHCO3 is more soluble, cannot be precipitated easily. Why Na2CO3 is prepared by Solvay process? Answer: NaHCO3 is less soluble and can be precipitated easily. What are the raw materials to prepare washing soda in Solvay process? The raw materials are salt water, ammonia, and carbon dioxide. How do you prepare? First, I allow the ammonia and water and carbon dioxide to react so that I get ammonium carbonate. Then what happens? This ammonium carbonate again reacts with carbon dioxide and water to give NH4HCO3, ammonium hydrogen carbonate. Then what happens? The ammonium hydrogen carbonate now reacts with the salt of salt water to give sodium bicarbonate and ammonium chloride. Then what happens? The sodium bicarbonate being less soluble gets precipitated as crystals. Then I heat the sodium bicarbonate to get back the Na2CO3. Very good. Sir, what do you do with ammonium chloride? The ammonium chloride is allowed to react with calcium hydroxide so that I get back ammonia gas. From where you are getting calcium hydroxide? I am getting calcium hydroxide from calcium oxide. From where you are getting calcium oxide? Because I am heating limestone CaCO3 to get CO2 as CaO. So in this process, the CO2 required in step number 1 is obtained by heating limestone. And the CaO required in the last step to recover ammonia from ammonium chloride is also obtained from CaCO3. So the raw materials for Solvay process are calcium carbonate limestone, which is a source of carbon dioxide and CaO. Second raw material is ammonia as ammonium chloride. Third raw material is salt water. So what is sodium carbonate decahydrate known as? Na2CO3 10H2O is known as washing soda. In what method it is produced? It is produced in Solvay process. What are the raw materials for Solvay process? Ammonia, limestone, salt water. Can I prepare K2CO3 in Solvay process? No. Why I cannot prepare K2CO3 in Solvay process? Because KHCO3 is highly water soluble, cannot be prepared easily. What is the other product I am getting in Solvay process? In Solvay process, I try to get back ammonia by reacting ammonium chloride with silicate lime. In this course, I get CaCl2 as byproduct. What is the role CaCl2 can do? If you put your wet hands on CaCl2 crystals, the water is removed. Anything that removes water is called desiccant, Dessicant. CaCl2 is used as a desiccant. That is a note on Solvay process. The sodium carbonate is a very important chemical. We study again about sodium carbonate in next week also. Sodium carbonate, if kept in water, makes a basic solution. Sodium carbonate makes water solution basic. It makes water solution basic due to hydrolysis. What are the uses of washing soda? Everybody knows. Washing soda is used for making washing powders. It is used for removing hardness of water. It is used for cleaning purpose. Also, washing soda is used to make glass. Washing soda is used to make so many compounds like caustic soda, soap, borax. It is important material to make paper, paints, and cloth material. It is an important laboratory reagent. Also, I want you to read yourself what is salt, table salt which you eat, what are its uses. Also, I want you to read about NaOH, caustic soda. Caustic soda, NaOH, is a laboratory reagent. Every laboratory has it. The caustic soda is made in the laboratory by passing current through salt water. The cells where the salt water is subjected to electric current are called Kastner-Kellner cell or Keller-Solvay cell or Nelson cell. In these cells, when you pass current through